family. Welcome into Next Man Up. We have some fun for y'all this week. As always, Mike Sainristil pulls up and talks about his battle against the Cleveland Browns and getting in DeShaun Watson's face for a little bit. Then we have a great Washington legend for you. Alfred Morris joins the show to talk about the best running backs in his opinion that has ever played for Washington and what it was like when he played in the Battle of the Beltway against the Baltimore Ravens. All that and more right now on Next Man Up.
2, 3, kick. Come on! Scratch is so nice, gotta hear it twice.
Commanders family, for our Next Man Up, we have somebody extremely special. Straight out of Michigan, our second round pick, our rookie. He's already making waves in the league. Mike Sainristil, brother, how you doing, man?
Doing well, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm blessed to be here, man. I thank you for being here because, man, it's been a minute since we talked.
Yeah,
you was a rookie,
few months, yeah.
Just came in, man. You know, eyes wide open, and a lot has happened since we last spoke, man. First thing, most important, your daughter, man. The birth of your daughter. You're a girl dad now, man. How has that changed your life?
Man, just understanding that, like, everything I'm doing now is no longer for myself, no longer for my partner, no longer, you know, like, we are now doing everything we're doing for somebody else. Like, we're taking care of another being, and just, you know, understanding that every day I wake up makes me want to go even harder for my family, you know what I mean? So, like, shoot, I have a family now, you know?
That's beautiful to hear, man, because you're already a motivated guy. To even get to this point in life, you're very motivated. But I know when I had my son, my first child, that motivation level just went to a whole nother space. Have you noticed being a dad affecting you on the field yet? Have you noticed, like, a change?
I don't think I've noticed it, like, in the sense of, like, what I'm doing. I think just the urgency I have, how I prepare now, I do notice that difference. But, like, I go out there and I just play at the end of the day. But I do know in the back of my head, like, I want to do everything I'm doing right now to, you know, make my baby proud. So maybe a little bit.
Yeah, and it's an interesting journey because you're becoming a new dad, but you're also an NFL player. Two different things. I'm sure both things you dreamt of before. Quarter of the way through the season already, man. A quarter of the way. What has surprised you so far in your rookie season? Anything?
How fast it went?
Yeah.
Like you just said, like, we're a quarter of the way in.
It's crazy.
Already. And I feel like I literally just got here. Like, I remember our first conversation together. But, like, at the end of the day, it's the same game, you know. It's the same game I've been playing since I was a little kid, except now it's just with older men compared to college kids, compared to high school kids and youth kids, you know what I'm saying? But just, I think the biggest thing for me is how fast it's been going. Like, and they say your rookie year is your fastest year and your longest, in a sense. Like, everything just, you go from college to combine prep to draft to mini camp, OTAs, season starts. Like, the amount of things that just come at you so fast, but the duration of it is so long, from your last college football game to whenever your last NFL game is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, everybody that talks about you says this kid acts like he's been here before. He doesn't carry himself like a rookie. He doesn't play like a rookie. He doesn't prepare like a rookie. What made you ready for this moment to where you're getting that kind of praise as soon as you walk in through the door?
I think just understanding, like, if I wasn't, you know, supposed to be here, I wouldn't be. You know what I mean? So, like, just understanding, like, I'm here for a reason. They wanted guys like myself, Jaden, Benson, and Luke McCaffrey, you know, everyone that they drafted, they wanted us here. So be present in the moment. And I don't think anyone in our class is immature, in the rookie class, that is. I think they drafted a whole bunch of guys who carry that level of maturity and can prepare like veterans, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think any rookie on this current team acts like a rookie. And I think, you know, that's very big to hear from vets on the team, like, you know, guys like Bobby Wagner, you know, Marcus Mariota, guys who have been in it for a long time, Zach Ertz, and we can go down our roster and name guys who've been in it, but, like, just being around those guys, seeing how they prepare, and we can just take notes, like, look, those guys are where they are for a reason. Why not follow what they're doing?
And that's so much easier said than done, though, right? Because, like, there has to be moments where imposter syndrome kicks in. Whether you're on that field, whether you're surrounded by future Hall of Famers like Bobby Wagner, have you had that moment where imposter syndrome kicks in and you have to remind yourself, like, hey, man, I belong here?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've caught myself a few times, like shoot, Bobby himself, like he's a Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? And there's a few times like, and I think it's not necessarily imposter syndrome, but kind of like a level of appreciation where it's like I get to play with Bobby Wagner. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day, and just understanding that it's like that's very cool to say. You know what I'm saying? Like I've watched Bobby playing when I was 14, 15, and
wow,
you know, Bobby's been in it for a long time, but now I'm sharing the field with him. I'm a part of the same defense as him. That's so much experience, that's so much knowledge, so much wisdom from one person that I could gain, and it's really cool, like I said.
And you've gained not only the confidence of players like Bobby Wagner and the players on your defense, but you gained the confidence of the coaches very quickly. Yes, you were a second-round pick, but nothing's promised, right? Especially not a starting spot. You come in, you win that starting job. Dan Quinn, that confidence that he has in you, man, what does that mean to you, and how has that affected you while you try to get comfortable in this new life?
Just, wanting to make my coach right. What he believes in me, what, his expectations of me are, just going in, stamping that, like, I have high expectations for myself. I know what the coach's expectations are, so going and meeting those expectations and just proving them right. They drafted me in the second round, and, like, I want to prove to myself, like, yes, I was drafted in the second round. I believe I could have been drafted higher. I want to go out there and put that on the field.
And you've been doing it so far, man. You have made some splashes. And I remember last game, you meet DeShaun Watson on the sideline. You have a little scuffle. I was very surprised seeing that because you're just such a chill dude. You're such a calm dude. But when you're on that field, something clicks, man. Can you talk to us about that moment a little bit? Because you were a rookie, man. This is a guy, again, you've probably been watching since you was a teenager. What was that moment like for you?
Just when you step on that field, you got to turn it on. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever your alter ego is, whatever, you know what I'm saying, just – you step on that field, it's you and your guys versus them and their guys. And, I'm going to put everything I got on the line for my guys every single time.
And that moment is so special to me because I think it encompasses what this team is. Because as soon as you do that, the entire defense comes over there. They have your back. They stand with you. Talk about that camaraderie y'all been able to build, because it's not just rookies. You got a new coaching staff. You got all these new pieces together, but you guys have seemed to mesh so well. How is that possible?
I think it's just what we've been building in the offseason, that brotherhood, that bond, that togetherness, just, being able to come together as one unit and play for each other. We're a unit that we love each other, and, we want to go out there, play for our coaches. But when we're on that field, as a defense, we have each other's backs at the end of the day.
And we can't wait to see you guys out there in Baltimore. It's the Battle of the Beltway. Your first one going up against a dog in Lamar Jackson. But the fans, they travel. They've shown it. Now they ride up the street. Give a message to the fans before you go on, why they need to show up in Baltimore and turn up for y'all.
I would say we felt, our fan support all season long. Why stop now? Let's keep this thing going. Come to Baltimore, be loud, and, let's get this thing done.
Hey, Mike, appreciate your time as always, man. Congratulations on all your success. Congratulations on being a father, Burn. We appreciate you pulling up for us, man.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Command this family. For our next man up, we had to bring in a legend. In my opinion, one of the best rookies to ever play in the NFL. One of the best rookie seasons I have ever seen. 6th round pick out of Florida Atlantic. Holds a few records, especially as a rookie for Washington. Let me welcome in the next man up, Alfred Morris. Brother, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, man, we are so happy to have you. And as I mentioned, man, that rookie year, I think that was what I was most excited to talk to you about. Like, it's always cool to talk to these legends about the whole years, but, like, even going back when I was doing my research and looking at those numbers from your rookie season, man, you just don't see nothing like that. And you were a 6th round pick. So let's start from the beginning, man. 6th round pick, you were named a starter. You didn't even play the final preseason game, which again is crazy for a 6th round running back.
Yeah.
Did you know you were going to be the starter at that point?
I had a great idea. By the time I sat the last game, I was like, oh man, I knew I was going to make the team. But then doing week 1, I kind of got the, hey, you're going to start. And I was like, oh shoot, I'm about to start. Like, I'm about to be a starter in the NFL. Like, that's crazy. I never dreamed that would happen. I knew I wanted to be a starter. I dreamed that, but so early, I thought I was going to have to sit behind, one of the vets and kind of like earn my stripes and, kind of build some rapport. And then I get, my shot and not make the most of it. One of those things, you can't get ready when it's time to come. When it comes, you got to be ready before it comes. So, but yeah, that happened in preseason for me, really. A couple guys was like nicked up, nothing major, just like ankle injuries. And they gave me that football, and I was like, okay, I ain't getting this back. You know, I did that. That was the second game. That's when we played the Bears, because I think we played Bills, Bears, and then Colts, if I remember correctly. It's been a while, but and I had opportunity, to do a dress rehearsal. Usually the dress rehearsal was the third game. Starters play, 2-3 quarters, and halftime I had like 150 yards, something like that. In that first, I was like, oh yeah, they ain't getting this back. I'm sorry, but and then it's politics to play in that too. It's got to be real. But yeah, so it was just like I didn't expect it to happen so fast, but I'm not upset that it happened that fast.
And you mentioned all the politics and just being a later round guy. Nothing is promised. So what was the motivation for you when you're coming into training camp? Because this has to be a very motivated guy. Also, you're not getting a ton of opportunities. How did you make the most of those opportunities, and what motivated you through that time?
Well, kind of like what I said before about having been prepared before the opportunity comes. So I remember one of our family friends when I was going from high school to college, and one of the things he said and it stuck with me for me still now. He's like, it doesn't matter where you go. He's like, if you have the talent, they'll find you. So I always kept in the back of my head, if you have the talent, they'll find you. And I was like, I know I got the talent. So I went to Florida Atlantic, which is bigger now than when I was there, and I'm thankful. Love my school, and I'm not salty. I love that they're growing and it's booming, and like they're getting better recruits and they're getting better uniforms and all this stuff. I'm like, man, I love that. So, but going into the pros, just kind of had the same mindset. If I can look myself in the mirror at the end of the day and know I gave it my all, I can sleep at night. I can hang my hat no matter what happens, whether I'm cut, whether whether I put on practice or whatever the outcome. It's like, if I can give each day my all, then I know that like I can sleep at night and be at peace, and like I gave everything I had, and this was the outcome, and that's okay. So that was my mindset going in, and I just kind of kept swinging, kept chopping wood, and it's like I said, it shook out much quicker than I thought it would.
Clearly, it was a good decision to name you the starter, man, because what a rookie season you had. I want to fast forward a little bit to that final rookie game because, man, 200-plus rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Now, that game allowed you to break some pretty significant records. So I got to ask, Did you know those records were on the line, or was that motivation for you on that game? Like, did you have stuff that you had to prove, or was it just one of those days where just everything was clicking and working right?
I think everything was just clicking. I never paid attention much to stats and records, and like I know my stats now because you do kind of enough stuff, and then once you put stats, you kind of like I remember I'm like, oh yeah, it's like 1,613 yards, 13 touchdowns. I can't remember the carries anymore. It's been way too long, but it's just kind of like when people repeat it over and over, you're like, oh, that's what I did. But I never paid attention to records. I'm thankful I have a record and it's still standing. But no, I didn't. It was business as usual. I was like, I'm gonna do the best I can, and man, it was a fun game. It's like, cause I was like, it's funny because like I don't know if Darrell DY remembers this. Darrell Young, our fullback. I remember before the game, or maybe it's after the game, I like wrote down on a piece of paper. I just felt that I was like, I put 200+ yards, 3 touchdowns. I don't know. I just feel like I was supposed to write that down. And I did. And after the game, I was like, hey, DY, look at this. I wrote this in the hotel room. It was like a Gaylord Hotel little notepad thing. And I was like, look at this. But technically, I did have 200+ yards, but I had a couple of negative runs. So it kind of put me back at 200. But I was like, that's crazy, man.
That is wild. Did you continue to write things down moving on in your career? Like, was that kind of like a little trick you learned?
No, it just happened. It was one and done. It's just kind of, I really felt like, it was like, man, I'm going to rush for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was just like a knowing. So I was like, I'm going to write that down so I can remember that. So, and it happened. It was just crazy. I mean, I wrote some other stuff down and that didn't happen, but that for sure was going to happen,
But I mean, what a rookie year it was. And you got to come in with an RG3, a very mobile quarterback, a guy that's able to run, much like our running backs right now playing with Jaden Daniels. Can you give your perspective on what it was like playing with a mobile quarterback and the benefits you received from playing next to a guy like RG3?
One, it was fun. It was a crazy ride, and we both had really good rookie years, honestly. But just having a mobile quarterback and then having a ball carrier that can run really well, especially in that system, it helped both of us out. It kind of like when he's doing those long rides, it's like it's drawing more attention. It's keeping those linebackers. They have to take that step up. They have to respect that, like, hey, we're gonna stuff it down your throat. But that opens up those passing windows so he can dump the ball off over their heads, and it's like it opens up big games for like Pierre Garçon or Josh and those guys. So it's just like it it was helpful for them, but also for me because they had to respect his bootlegs and stuff. So like if he was like hands off and do a fake, they had to respect that he could run the ball and that he was a threat even on the run with his legs or with his arm. So it kind of took an eye or two off of me. They had to hesitate to make sure, and then it was like, it gave me that, like, it's a game of inches and just milliseconds. It really is. And like this, it's a hole is there and then it's gone. So like just those eyes just slightly staying off me was able to help me find, like, have more time to hit holes and do things like that. So I think it played to both our advantage. That like they both of us has been successful and we both were becoming threats. So which made it even funner, more fun. I guess funner isn't the word.
I'm glad you ended like that though, because yes, he helped you out, but man, having a rookie running back like you had to have helped him so much. And again, you broke the single season rushing yards for Washington at the time. You have the rookie record for touchdowns. I think at that time, you were like the fourth person to ever rush for over 1,600 yards as a running back, which leaves you in very, very small company as well. So I have to ask you, because again, you said you weren't really noticing at the time, but now you're at all these events, you're signing autographs, you're hearing about all of these things, and we've seen this game progress. Are you one of the best rookie running backs ever?
I've actually never thought about that, but statistically speaking, yeah, I think there's three of us. I was the second rookie to cross 1,600 yards. Eric Dickerson, if I remember correctly, was the first. I think he was at like 1,800, which is ridiculous. And that was a whole nother era, so that's even more ridiculous. So, so I can say I'm the best because that's hard to top. And then I think Zeke did it in 16. I think that was his rookie year. So I also argue that he had a better O-line. Or like overall, I love my O-line. It's not against them, but overall, he had they had a number one O-line, like rated that way. So I was like, I think it was easier for you to do that than it was for me. So, but I think top three, like statistically speaking, and just like how fun it was, I'm like, I would say, yeah, one of the better. Let me stop. One of the best. Let me stop trying to downplay. I'm one of the best rookie running backs. I never thought about it, but that's true.
Yeah. Stick your chest out on that, man. You deserve to have that because, again, you earned it, right? It's not like we speculating. These numbers and records exist. Like, that's not something that we made up, man, and you earned that. So go ahead. I like it, man. Flex a little bit on them. And it's funny, though, you mentioned Zeke in that offensive line because you got to actually be there for that. You got to play behind that offensive line either. And with having such a great start in Washington, right? Like, that NFC East rivalry is a real thing. Like, they really hate the Cowboys here. They really hate the Eagles here, So what went into that decision-making to go sign with the Dallas Cowboys and see your former team twice a year?
I mean, it's funny because, like, that was, like, one team I didn't want to play for. Honestly, I was like, I don't play for them. But it's just that's how it happened. And, like, there's still unanswered questions on, like, what happened to me exiting out of, Washington, which was hard because I gave so much, for 4 years, I gave it my all, like not only on the field, but off the field as well. I did every community service event. I wouldn't say this to toot my horn, but I was just like, I was immersed into the community. I was like I'm all in for this team. And then for me to be exited out and now they offered me a contract. And of course I was like, well, that's no, like I'm worth more than that, like just statistically alone, I'm worth more than that. So I kind of turned it down, but I know it's a game. So I thought like, okay, they're going to come back. And they never offered me I guess like a rebuttal, I guess, to me saying no. My play started getting affected, but that's a whole other story. So I ended up, I actually thought I was going to end up with Broncos, which is a whole nother AFC, so I'm like, oh shoot, all right, let's go. But that didn't work out. And then just how the cookie crumbled, it ended up landing in Dallas, and I didn't want to sign. I was mad when I signed. I'm thankful on the hindsight, my career was continued, but at the same time, I was mad, like in the hotel, talking with my agent. I'm like, this is bull crap. This contract is bull crap. I'm better than this. Like, I'm worth more than this. But I wanted to be obedient. So I was like, I feel like the Lord told me to do it. And I was like, all right, fine, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to like it. So that's how I ended up over there, honestly. Like, it was the last team I wanted to play for. And that's how it worked out. So
Wow, that is actually wild to think about. So you played for a couple teams after Dallas as well, but would you say that the Commanders, like Washington, that's your home? Like, would you feel like this is still like your home? Like, when people think Alfred Morris, do they think Washington?
Oh, without a doubt. Like, I did the same thing. I'm like, that's where I started at. And I mean, that's why I would love to end, someday, sometime, maybe do like some of the other guys do a 1-day contract, but we'll work on that later down the road. But right now it's just like when people think of me, they always like, oh man, he's a killer. They never say Commanders. They always say the other name.
Yep, yeah.
I still got a bunch of gear in my attic and in my closet. So, but I was like, out of respect, I ain't gonna pull it out, but it's okay. But yeah, I'm Washington through and through.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, and that's why I like being able to talk to you guys, legends, because like we don't want the fans to think we're trying to erase anything, because you were a Redskin. You played, man. You wore that helmet. And that's why we like having you guys on the talk, because like we want to honor that history. That history doesn't go anywhere. You're a big part of that. So, man, we're just so happy to have you in the fold. And it's crazy because a lot of guys are starting to come back around and starting to show their faces again. Like there was a time where a lot of Washington Legend had kind of just removed themselves. I don't know if it was the name change. I don't know what it was. But it's great to have you guys back. So my favorite question to ask y'all legends, and this might be a tough one.
Yeah.
What was your favorite memory playing for Washington?
Oh, shoot. That is a tough one. I mean, the season overall, I would say it was a moment. I think we played, man, it's hard, but I can think of other ones, but this first one came out, so I'm going to go with that one. But when we played New York, the Giants, and I'm pretty sure it was Monday Night Football. I think we ended up winning 16-17, but I was running down the left sideline, and somehow, I think my shoulders messed up, but like the way I landed, the ball came out my hand. It was fun. I tried to get it back, but like I didn't, and they recovered it. And I'm a young rookie guy. Like we're like partially through the season, and they didn't. But my coaches didn't give up on me. They were like, man, put him on the bench. Like he's out of here. Our defense got the ball back, and they put the ball in my hands to seal the game. Like they was running this clock on. Like it's one of my favorite pictures. I have it actually on like a canvas, but it's like me. I broke the goal. We get a first down. I'm like, and I just remember yelling like this big moment. Is just like, because I was like, they believed in me. I believe in myself. Like we just sealed this game. That's a W. And it was just like this. And I'll have to find. I'll text it to you. But if I can find it, it's probably in the attic somewhere now because we moved again, and so I didn't unpack it.
Yeah, text it to me.
yeah. So I have to find that one. That was always one of my favorite pictures. Just that moment. And just in Washington. And so, but yeah, man, good time.
Man, it's so great to do those walk down memory lanes. And you could tell when you guys talk about those moments, like, even if you don't mention it, I know how involved the fans were at that time and how much of an impact they've made on you guys. Because again, you've played for different teams, but there's a reason why all the guys seem to come back to the burgundy and gold and show love there. Can you just talk about this fan base a little bit and the love you've gotten, not just while you were playing, but since you've been gone as well?
Yeah. I think, one of the best words I heard to describe the fan base is electrifying. Especially that rookie year, just following is just like, man, there's no atmosphere like it was in Washington, man, at FedEx Field. They're just different. I mean, I used to hang out in the stadium. That's my stadium family. I used to always go out and kick it with them. So it's just like this like family atmosphere that you just don't get anywhere else. And it's like, these people, they bleed it. They're about that. Like no matter what you do, that's why I love, even since being gone and going and playing with the enemy, I still get love. I got some boos and stuff like that, but I get that people don't fully understand the business side of this, like how the game works. Like if I had it my way, I would have been in Washington for my entire career. That's what I wanted, but that's not how it played out for me. And that's okay, because I still get a lot of love from the fans. I still have love for the fans. And it was just one of those phases that was special. Like I said, I had 4 other stops, but none of them felt like family. None of them felt like electrifying. Like it was I forget who said that. I think when we played that Minnesota Vikings game, and the crowd was like when Robert took off and like scored that touchdown game winner, like the crowd went stupid, and I was just like got these goosebumps. I get them right now just thinking about. Man, this is it. This is the big leagues, man. So, but yeah, man, I think this fan base is really special, and I'm glad they're still riding out through multiple name changes, through coach changes, through player changes. All of this, they're still the constant. So it's like they're always going to be there, and I love that. And these people are like, man, my parents had they had season tickets since the 60s or whatever it is. They have these crazy dates, but it's just like, man, that's crazy. Like they literally pass them down in the family. Like it's like this is a family heirloom. Like you getting these in inheritance, so which is like super crazy, and I love that, man. So best fan base ever. I ain't biased.
It's funny because I don't think there's a better person to talk about that type of energy, because now we're looking at the energy shift again. Now we're looking at the energy probably higher than it's ever been, or higher than it's been since you played. Like the last time you were playing, when you and RG3 were doing your guys' thing, that's when that energy was up there. And now we are seeing it again. And a lot of that has to do with the man, Jaden Daniels. But he also has some stud running backs, just like RG3 had. He has a Brian Robinson Jr., he has an Austin Eckler, he even has a Jeremy McNichols. Talk about this run game. Before we get into Jaden Daniels and the Commanders that are today, let's talk about this run game a little bit, because I got a feeling you're a big fan of what you're seeing on that field right now.
No, definitely, for sure, man. It's crazy how like so many people want to go away from the run game and they talk about like, oh, it's not needed. People win Super Bowl. I'm like, nah. Like if you really want to win, if you really want to be contender, like you have to establish a run game, because when you can't get the ball going on the ground, it's like it limits your playbook. Like you can only do so much. It literally makes your offensive. It makes it that much harder to be successful as an offense. Like you have to establish your run game. That helps with play actions. That help with like some of those, like a lot of those deep passes and stuff. Like it helps with like the game overall, and even the flow, ball, like time of possession. You know, that's something like a lot of people don't look at, but I can look at people's time of possession. I'm like, look at their time of possession. I bet they lose the game just by their possession alone. The defense is on the field too long. That means they're going to get really tired, and that means that their offense wasn't like they weren't firing all cylinders. Chances are they lost that game, or they didn't play very well. You know, so it's just one of those things like you have to establish run game. So, but yeah, I'm always gonna be biased by run game, because they always trying to like devalue running back. I'm like, no, I'll get what you say. Like devalue all you want, but you need a running back.
Well, they definitely value it out here. Cliff Kingsbury has found a way to move that ball on the ground. And, of course, that brings me to Jaden Daniels, where, you know, he had a lot of comparisons to RG3, which I don't necessarily think it's fair to make any of these comparisons, right? They compare Lamar Jackson, all these things. But we are seeing a guy come in and make an impact, very similar to what we saw when RG3 came in his rookie year. Can you talk about Jaden Daniels, and have you really seen a quarterback like Jaden Daniels before?
No, I can't say that, because everyone's unique. They may have similarities, man. Like you said, they're gonna, of course, anybody who looks like them or somewhat similar, they're gonna compare. Yeah. Like
the lazy comparisons.
People, man. But I think he's doing a heck of a job. And like one of the main things is like play along is like he's reigniting the fan base. When you get those fans involved, man, like it changes game. It literally, the atmosphere can shift momentum in your favor, and it's crazy how that works. So that's why if you can get that fan base going, and I think him and the rest of the team are doing a really, really good job of this. Like I said, play along, like, and the better they play, the more the fans are getting to it. So it's like, it's just, both of them are just feeding off each other. So, I mean, it's exciting to see what they do. And my hope is that, like, they're able to, you know, one, go make it all the way this year. That would be lovely. You know, everybody wants to go all the way, but it's like they can carry that momentum to keep going forward to make it to the big dance. And like, I never got there, and I would love to have had a chance to shot at the Super Bowl, but not everyone makes it there. But I just hope they can, one, can get there, and two, they can keep this going for years to come. It's not just like a flash in the pan, so to speak, that it's like a one and done, and then the next year there's like, oh, what happened to those guys, you know? But I'm hopeful, and I think so, that they'll be able to keep this momentum going.
You said it best. Not everybody's able to make it there. And I feel that way when it comes to a career like yours. Not everybody is able to come into the league and make an impact that you were able to make. So I got a tough question for you. I'm going to put you on the spot right now. This is your list, so there's no pressure. You can say whatever you want. But I need top 3 Washington running backs all time, in your opinion. Granted, you know, we wasn't around years and years and years ago, so you don't got to, you know, feel like you were obligated to say that. But in your opinion, Alfred Morris' opinion, who are the top 3 running backs in Washington all time?
I became a Washington fan because of Clinton Portis. When he got traded for Champ Bailey I watched him in Denver. I grew up watching a lot of Denver, San Fran, Green Bay. Those were the only games we could catch on TV. My dad was a big Green Bay fan too. So, but I was watching him. I'm like, man, this guy's nice. This guy's nice. Him and Priest Holmes going back and forth on touchdowns. Anyways, when they traded him, like I was like, oh, that's so stupid. He's this, and I'm like, you know what? I'm a Washington fan now, so I actually got to pay my favorite team. So there's another little nugget that most people didn't know, that like Washington was my favorite team.
Oh, we love that.
Team. So I would say Clinton Portis. I mean, let's see. I'm gonna say, dang, I can't really say Liddell Betts, but I actually love watching Liddell Betts play too. But I can't say he's like one of the top 3. You know, like
it's tough.
there's some good backs. Of course, I'm biased towards Clinton Portis, so um, man, I, I, I mean, you can't think Washington backfield without thinking John Riggins. So I have to
Yep.
put Riggins in there. I have to. So like, and he's also like met him, awesome guy, love him. Like he's like the real deal. So and just watch. I didn't get to watch him growing up, but just watching some of his highlights, I was just like, man, like okay, this dude was like eating.
Yeah.
So and then third, I didn't want to do this, but I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to say me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say me, man. I still to this day, like sometimes I kind of think about my career and I go back and look at my highlights and I was like, dang, yeah, I ate. I do. Like, I don't know if that's like call it what you want, but it's just like, I do. I go back and sort of remind myself that I was like, man, what a career I had. Like, what, that was a lot of fun in Washington. So I guess I know I've never put myself on a list when I get a list, but it's the first time for everything. So like, I'm throwing me on there.
Yeah, I love it, man. Again, man, this is your walk down memory lane, man, and I love that. I'd put you on the list too, because brother, man, even just preparing for this and going through those stats, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a 6th round pick doing these things, and that actually leads me to my final question for you, because when you were a rookie, you got to experience the Battle of the Beltway, which is our matchups against the Baltimore Ravens. We have that this Sunday. Do you remember, real quick, because I got them? Do you remember your stats that game?
No, I don't. The one thing I remember from that game is me and the linebacker went head up and he stopped and fell and I kept going. And I just remember I felt bad. It's like, oh man, I think I got hurt that guy. But I was like, it doesn't matter. I got yards to gain. Like, but I don't know my stats. I knew it was a fun game and I enjoyed it. And it was like they were like, I knew they thumped because they still had Ray. And I actually met Ray Lewis. Side note, I met Ray Lewis and I was like, hey, Ray Lewis, you were scared of me. That's why, because he came to the game right after. I've my whole life wanted to play against Ray Lewis. And the one opportunity I get, he's not even in the game because I think he had like biceps or something. Anyway, that's the side note. But I don't remember my stats, but I do remember that one play, collide with that linebacker and like him hitting the ground and me keep running by. So, but yeah, I don't know. What's my stats though?
Let me tell you, the Ravens needed Ray Lewis that day because you had 129 yards rushing and a touchdown, and your performance got you Rookie of the Week against the Baltimore Ravens. So you had yourself a game, and we have some rookies that are looking to do the same thing with that Battle of the Beltway. So can you tell me, like, I don't know if you realize it at the time, but I'm sure, like, being back now, you realize, like, it's not really a rivalry, but there's, like, that play cousin type energy with the Baltimore Ravens with everything being in the DMV. Can you tell us the importance of back then what those Battle of the Beltway games were like, especially against a Ravens team that was really dominant?
Yeah, definitely. So I always thought it was fun. Even when we played them in the preseason, there's somewhere we always played them. So it was almost like a brotherhood. It was like we ha kiki before the game, after the game, but between that lines we smashing each other. It's like, it's like kind of like a little brother versus big brother almost, or like these two cousins is always going at each other. They love each other, but at the same time, they always going at it, always trying to one up each other, trying to better each other. So I think it's one of those like it's a competitive relationship, but it's a healthy competitiveness between the two. And like since DMV is so interconnected, it's almost like we're in ways. And I ain't gonna say that. So it was kind of like one team, but we definitely not. There's a distinction between Washington and Baltimore. So I'm not gonna insult any of our fan base or anything like that. So, but it's like this brotherly like love. But it's like I'll knock you out. Can anybody else knock you out? So.
Hey, man, well, thank you so much for your time and your perspective, man. We know you're a busy brother, and before we even got on, you surprised me, man. You had the scrubs on. You had on the hospital mask. Tell the people what you're doing these days, man, and, where they can still support you and show you love, because I'll tell you what, man, these Washington fans, they love you so much, man, and I know they're going to be so excited to have heard from you again.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Honestly, man, I'm right now in medical device sales. Didn't know it existed. Someone kind of pointed me in that direction. I was like, hey, I want to do that. I have anatomy background. I want to be somewhere in the medical field. It's always going to be there. So started doing this. Been doing it a little over 2 years. So, I'm also like looking for what's the next thing. So, there's nothing I can be supported in right now. I don't have like, a nonprofit or anything like that I'm supporting, but maybe one day I would love to do something for like a homeless ministry, like doing something with like feeding the homeless or just getting them shelter or helping them rehab so they can get a job. Some of them want to live on the streets, and some of them, some of them don't. And they fell on hard times. So I just have a heart especially in Dallas, a lot of them. And so when I go around, I just see them, and sometimes I stop and chat with them. And just so eventually I want to do something with that. So maybe in the future, like that's something I can do, and maybe the fan base can help out with that. But as of right now, it's like just keep showing your love to the team. Let's keep it electrifying.
Great guy on and off the field, brother. Always pushing the envelope, man, and that's so impressive. And just know, if you ever getting into media, you always got a home with Next Man Up, man. We will always welcome you on, brother. This has been a great conversation, Alfred, and we appreciate you so much. Commanders family, our Next Man Up, a true Washington legend, one of the best backs to ever put that helmet on for Washington, Alfred Morris. Thank you for your time, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Commanders family, we hope you've enjoyed this episode like you enjoyed all the other Next Man Up episodes. And if you've missed any, make sure to check them out on the Commanders YouTube page or stream them wherever you get your podcasts. I am your host, Brian Coper Jr., and this is Next Man Up.